Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al, week 14, and we're going to talk about some DraftKings ReignMakers. I'm going to run through what I believe are the 10 must-play cards on the week. Some of them are going to be superstars. Exactly 3 of them are going to be superstars. And then we're going to go through some quarterbacks, running backs, and pass catchers that are non-superstars that you can call up a division from core to rare, from rare to elite, from elite to legendary, or if you're a high-tier nosebleed ReignMaker player, you can call up those legendary players to play up in ReignMaker. There's a lot of value in the non-superstar cards, and I think that you can go a couple of routes to an optimal lineup this week, and hopefully you have a lot of them in your collection. If you don't, we'll talk about how you can get in and dip your toe in ReignMakers. The end of the season is coming. Playoffs, there will be cards to be had. Cards are dropping in price at this point in the season as the season is coming to an end. There are less slates left to be played, so if you wanted to get in, it has never been a cheaper time to try and test things out for the final 5 weeks of the regular season of the first year on DraftKings ReignMakers. So drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notifications bell. Let me know which card has been your favorite DraftKings ReignMakers card in your collection this year. And let's go.
He's a legend.
Smizzle Gang Listener League is up for this week. It has 3,500 spots, but cannot be found in the DraftKings lobby. You got to go to smizzle.tv/links if you are looking for it. So make sure that you head to that link tree and check it out, because it is very, very important that you do so. If we fill it, it stays the same size. If we don't fill it, it's going to get smaller as the weeks go along. $10 to enter, 3 max, absolutely no rake. The best tournament that exists on DraftKings.com. Go to smizzle.tv/links to enter today. Let's start with the superstars. Josh Allen is going to project as one of the optimal plays on this short 10-game slate this week. Has a projection over 27 points, and I put my little card over there. I should probably get it. He has been a monster most weeks this season. He had one of his worst games of the year, though, the last time he played the Jets. That game was in New York. I believe that he is going to have a little bit of bounce back on his mind, as well as this coaching staff. This is a situation where they are now playing for their lives. They are playing for a bye week in the first week of the playoffs. They have to keep winning games or they are going to lose that. They have to keep putting themselves in positions to get that all-important bye week and home field all throughout the playoffs. So Josh Allen has all of the team motivation. The team has all of the motivation to pile up as many points as they can against the Jets offense that has been doing very well recently. Josh Allen core cards, if you're going to utilize them as your superstar, and superstars are limited to 1 per lineup, so you can't just pile up all the best players who average the most fantasy points. That is the main core strategy of ReignMakers, is picking your superstar for that lineup. Josh Allen cards at core, really $12, $13. They have never been cheaper than they are right now. $65 to $70 for a rare tier, and obviously up from there as you move up in tiers. The best game on the slate is Minnesota going to Detroit, where Detroit is a much better team and a much better offense in games that they play at Ford Field, and Minnesota, not a good defense at all. So this does look like the best game on the slate. A 53 total on the 10 games on the main slate. The next highest total is 6 points below that. It is a much different offensive environment, and it is a very close game with the Lions favored by 1.5 to 2 points, depending on where you check. The last time that they played, Minnesota had Justin Jefferson shut down as the Lions really forced the action in that spot for them to go other places. But now, having traded TJ Hawkinson to Minnesota, there's just more able-bodied pass catchers that have a winning expectation when they get the ball in their hands, between him and Thielen and KJ Osborne. And Minnesota, now having seen that, is going to do what they have to do pre-snap and post-snap to scheme Justin Jefferson open, because you're a better offense when you get the ball to the biggest alpha on the field. And Justin Jefferson's cards as well, very cheap. If you wanted to build around a superstar Justin Jefferson, if only there was somebody else you could bring it back with on the other side. Maybe that's foreshadowing. Maybe we'll talk about it later in the video. His card's cheaper, as quarterbacks are very key to lineup, because you got to have one to play in a lineup, and there's just more wide receivers that are available in total based on how many are out there. His card's $10 cheaper at the $10 to $20 cheaper at the rare tier. $10, $11 at core if you wanted to build a Justin Jefferson lineup. If you go up to elite, now you're starting to get into the pricey lineups, as you need 4 elite cards and 1 rare to make an elite tier lineup. Running back superstars are tough to build lineups around, but this week they are less so because of the way that this slate is breaking down. Usually your top projected players are quarterbacks or wide receivers. Obviously running backs get into that spot, but like, it's easier to build a superstar stack with a superstar being a quarterback or a pass catcher than it is to build a high scoring optimal type lineup around a superstar running back like Derrick Henry, because you can only use that one superstar in a lineup. But this week, with other teams that don't have a superstar in their stacks, teams like Detroit, teams like Seattle, who don't have a superstar in their stack at all, gives you opportunities to build optimal type lineups around a Derrick Henry type base lineup, right? It's very hard to build around superstar running backs, but like Derrick Henry gives you that opportunity, and he's $6. Like, he's $6 at core. You could build let's say you think that even though the Cowboys are favored by like 16, what if they score the 31 plus points that is their implied team total? What if Dak Prescott has 3-4 touchdowns through the air, 3 through the air, and runs 1 in? He's not a superstar. CeeDee Lamb's not a superstar. You could build a stack around a Derrick Henry lineup with them too on this slate. $6, $40 at the rare tier. Like, this is there. It's listed by recently listed. $6, rare tier $30. You can get yourself an extremely good lineup at the core tier, building around a superstar at running back this week, way more so than most weeks this season. If you wanted to discuss ReignMakers strategy, market strategy more so, you got to go to smizzle.tv/HQ and pick up the Smizgang HQ key. That'll lead you to the token locked part of our Discord at smizzle.tv/Discord, a 7,000 member partner Discord community that we have cultivated over the last 6 years. Daily fantasy can be an extremely isolating thing to take part in. So can NFTs, whether it's ReignMakers or So Rare or anything else. If you wanted to join the token lock part of our Discord where we discuss ReignMakers and other NFT games, make sure that you go to smizzle.hq, pick up your coin. Do not search for this on OpenSea, as there are fakes out there. Always use my links. You can find that link in smizzle.tv/links as well. Only use my links if you're going to buy the Smiz coin. The non-superstars on the week here, I got what, 7 of them for you. 2 quarterbacks, 2 running backs, and 3 pass catchers. Kirk Cousins. Anytime that you play against Detroit, you're gonna have a good time, and looks like Kirk Cousins is gonna have a good time. We used Justin Jefferson as a key superstar. If you wanted to stack through him, you most certainly can. He's not expensive. $8 at core, $32 at the rare tier. Obviously the prices move up in somewhat of similar multiples, right? So it's usually like from here to here, and then it's like 10x to get to elite, and then you go up to like legendary, and then ReignMakers tier is super duper. The costliest point, not a lot of players up in that range. That's where I play. I totally understand if you guys can't afford that. More players in the core tier than anywhere else, and it's where I suggest people get in to start. His opposite side this week, his mirror image, is Jared Goff. He's got a goofy picture, but like, he's done really well, specifically in home games this year, where Jared Goff is averaging 22 DraftKings points per game. And like, you could use a superstar Justin Jefferson. You could probably find a wide receiver that you could stack him with. And there you have a single stack bring back that you have to fill out 2 more spots on that lineup, and you've used your superstar. But like, Jared Goff cards, $7. It is so easy to build lineups this week on this particular slate. It's a really fun slate. There's a lot of high profile, really well projected non-superstar players to play with, and not having to spend a superstar at quarterback allows you access to all of those high scoring potential spots. Joe Mixon, also a non-superstar, expected to be back, practiced in full on Wednesday and Thursday, expected to clear concussion protocol and step back into that starting role that has been occupied by Samaje Perine the last few weeks, 2.5 weeks, and Perine did exceptionally well, as Cincinnati's offensive line has been absolutely truck sticking everything in their way. And now they get a great matchup against Cleveland, who has done nothing to stop opposing running backs all season long. This game on the road, yes, Joe Burrow does not have a win thus far in his career against Cleveland, but you can see them hanging their hat on the offensive line and the running game in this one, as well as sprinkling in a whole lot of Jamar Chase and T. Higgins on the outside in the absence of Hunter Hayden Hurst Helmsley, 4H. And going to his cards, again, $7, guys. You can build a core lineup that is one of the top 3 or 4 optimals for like $30 this week. It has not been cheaper to get involved in ReignMakers than it is right now. Amon-Ra St. Brown at wide receiver. I missed a guy in here. I should have one more guy. I should have talked about Dalvin Cook. I was supposed to talk about Dalvin Cook, another player from that game. His card's in the same range. Great matchup against Detroit. I skipped his card. All apologies from me, but I'll move on to Amon-Ra St. Brown, who I expect to have a run in to the end of the season, much like he had last season where he caught 8 balls in every single game, 10 plus targets on the way, pretty much every single week. Since they traded away Hawkinson, he has seen over 35% of the target market share on his team. Taking a look at the cost of his cards, because he is such a valuable play and because the non-superstar cards can get called up a division, his cards are going to be more expensive than a lot of the superstars or the 2 quarterbacks that we had already profiled on this show. So like $15 for his core, $70, about the same price at rare, because people are calling them up to play in the more expensive tiers. And as we said, like a 10x multiplier to go from rare to elite. Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to challenge for 8 catches, 100 yards, and gonna project for half a touchdown every single week that he plays the rest of the season. As is Stefon Diggs. The American hero has been ridiculous. 92 catches, over 100 yards per game, averaging the DraftKings 100-yard bonus on the season. What I forget how many touchdowns he has, 9, 10, whatever, like a lot of touchdowns at this point. I'm sorry for blanking on that fact, exactly how many touchdowns he has, but it's a lot. And he does have a tough matchup this week, that's for sure, with Sauce Gardner. The Jets defense has been very good at causing inefficiencies in wide receivers. However, there are some wide receivers, that do a good job of being matchup proof and play through tough matchups, and Stefon Diggs is certainly in that category. Also, these tough matchups are already baked into projection. So even with this tough matchup on the outside, he still projects as the number 2 wide receiver on the week as a non-superstar, Xing out all the superstars like Justin Jefferson, because there is never going to be a pass catcher and quarterback that are both superstars. So if Josh Allen has that superstar tag and will never lose it, Stefon Diggs will never be a superstar in ReignMakers. Taking a look at his prices, similar to Amon-Ra St. Brown because of the optimal nature of his cards, his lower tier cards are more expensive. We saw like $6, $7 for some of the other. He's like 3 times as much. Where you see the big uptick in his price doesn't come until elite and legendary, because if you have a Josh Allen ReignMaker, Josh Allen legendary card, you are certainly buying elite and legendary cards to pull them up to ReignMaker and legendary tier. So like that multiplier kind of changes. Like his cheapest rare is $80, but we have more than a 10x multiplier to get up to his elite cards, and then his legendary tier is like 3,000 to get up here. One, because of how powerful that card is as a standalone, because everybody who has a Josh Allen is certainly buying it, and also the Bills are a lock to make the playoffs, and so you get extra utility out of the cards in week 19, 20, 21, with them being one of the Super Bowl favorites. If you wanted to play in the Super Bowl showdown that they're going to have in ReignMakers, you're going to have players from that game to play. So the playoff tier cards, the non-superstar cards that mesh well with a superstar, hold their value at this point in the season. Even though they're coming down, they have held their value way more so than players on like the Texans, the Bears, the Raiders. Jamar Chase is going to round us off in this video. Love to see him back last week. 8 targets, caught 7 of them, and his best catch was the one that did not count. They have this great matchup. Joe Burrow took superstar status away from Jamar Chase because of Chase's injury. I kind of feel like it flips back for the playoffs where Chase is going to get superstar back, and Joe Burrow will lose superstar, but he is averaging enough points to not lose it. We'll see what DraftKings actually does with that situation, as superstar status is clearly to their discretion. Jamar's prices, $12, a lot more reasonable than like the Amon-Ra St. Brown, who is going to be more chalky. So you can get a little bit of differentiation in terms of the percentage of rosters that are going to have him. You get a little bit of a relief, even though nobody is super highly played in ReignMakers just because of the nature of having to own the cards instead of just clicking on a salary. You don't see 30-40% played players in tournaments. It's typically between 5 and 20. So getting different as opposed to just playing optimals is less valuable in ReignMakers. The superstars give you that built-in low percentage just because you can't pull them up a division. So like there's multiple times as many non-superstars. For his core cards, as cheap as $12 for Jamar Chase, $65 for his rare tier cards. Very easy to build optimal lineups around what they have. Here's take a quick look at a couple of my Reignmaker tier lineups. I have these are subject to change. I may optimize these a little bit more, but as I ran through, I've got a Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb stack around a core Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra triple in that game. Kirk Cousins, Adam Thielen, TJ Hawkinson in case they bracket Jefferson like they did before. Then a couple of Eagles in this as well with Miles Sanders and AJ Brown. I wish you guys the best of luck this weekend. Look out for another video right there.
He's a legend.